Have you ever wondered why the kindest men are often left heartbroken? Why the ones who give their all are the ones left behind? If it hurts, that's good. Because pain doesn't lie. It teaches truth, the kind most people are too afraid to face. She didn't love you. Maybe she smiled. Maybe she said the words. But deep down, she never truly loved you. What she loved was your belief that she did. That belief kept you in place. That belief made you give, chase, wait. Now it hurts. And it should. Because pain is the only teacher that doesn't deceive you. It tells you what the world hides. So now, take a good look in the mirror. Who do you see? A good man? A gentleman? Someone who opened doors for her, told her she was beautiful every day? That man, the kind, the gentle one, is invisible to her. Worse than invisible. He is predictable. And in the hidden language of a woman's desire, predictable means boring. It means lifeless. In her subconscious mind, predictability is the death of attraction. There is a monster inside every woman. Not an evil one, not violent, but real. A part of her nature, written in her DNA. A force that even she does not fully understand. It's this part that pulls her away from the man who loves her and towards the man who ignores her. Ever wondered why she says she wants a sensitive man, but ends up crying over someone cold and distant? It's not because she enjoys pain, it's because her biology is stronger than her words. History knows this truth. For thousands of years, the women who survived were the ones who chose the warrior, not the poet. They chose the hunter, not the dreamer. The man who could kill to protect, not the one who would die to prove love. And that ancient instinct? It's still alive. It runs in her blood every single day. It decides her desires before her mind can even catch up. You think love is about honesty, safety, comfort. She might say the same. But her body, her reactions, they tell a different story. She lights up when talking about her ex, the one who didn't treat her well. She smiles when speaking of that arrogant boss everyone hates. That glow you see? It's not trauma, it's desire. Desire in its most raw, untouched form. Not for abuse, not for pain, but for unpredictability, dominance, mystery. The kind of man who cannot be tamed, who doesn't explain himself, who doesn't chase. You, on the other hand, are clear, safe, kind, reliable, and that is your curse. She knows you too well. She knows what you'll say, how you'll react, what you'll do next. You are an open book. She can read you anytime, and that makes you boring. You are everything she says she wants, and because of that, you are everything her body runs from. Even Schopenhauer saw this. He said love is a trick by nature to continue the species. But he didn't go far enough. Love isn't just a trick, it's a battlefield. And the kind man, the one who gives without question, he always loses. What women really want. When she says she wants emotional connection, what does she really mean? She wants to feel something. Not just safety, but intensity. She wants moments that wake her up, shake her, make her doubt and wonder. She craves risk, not routine. The man she truly desires is the one who makes her guess. Does he love me? Why hasn't he called? Is he thinking of me or someone else? That feeling, that uncertainty, that's more addictive than any drug. And you? You're consistent. You always reply, you're always there. You're not a thrill, you're therapy. And she's not ready for healing. She's addicted to chaos. You are methadone. She wants heroin. History repeats itself. Napoleon conquered Europe. Yet he couldn't win Josephine. He wrote her letters from the battlefield, full of need, full of longing, while she slept with others in Paris. The emperor, the most powerful man on earth, reduced to an emotional beggar. Sounds familiar? Of course it does. You've begged too, you've waited, hoped, pleaded for her attention, while she gave her time, her beauty, her laughter to men who never even asked. The monster. She desires. The man she dreams of is not abusive. He doesn't hit, he doesn't scream, he just doesn't need her. He is focused on something greater, on purpose, on power, on conquest. And that hunger, that fire, that is what she truly wants to feel. Not love that pleads, but love that burns from a distance. She doesn't go crazy because you're mean. She doesn't leave because you're a bad person. She walks away because you're too easy to figure out. Want to know what really drives her mad with desire? It's not cruelty, it's scarcity. Basic desire works. Like basic economics, women are not emotional fools. They are unconscious evolutionary thinkers. Her biology is not wired for pity or poetry. It is wired for value. If your time, love, and attention are free, they mean nothing. Because in the law of human desire, what is rare becomes precious. What is always available becomes boring. Remember when you were a child? There was always that one toy behind the glass you couldn't have. You wanted it more than anything. But what happened once you got it? 2 weeks later, it was forgotten. Tossed in a corner, old news. That toy? That's you now. Available, predictable, forgettable. She already knows what you'll say, when you'll say it, and how you'll react. There's no thrill, no tension, no chase. The monster is behind the glass. He is visible, he is desirable, but he's never fully reachable. That's what keeps her mind spinning. That's what keeps her desire burning. Man is a wolf to man, Hobbes said. But when a man forgets he is a wolf, he becomes a lamb to a woman. The woman stops feeling that masculine energy. The edge disappears. You want to know why your relationship died? Don't just ask what you did wrong, ask what you stopped doing right. You stopped being dangerous, not in a physical, aggressive way, but in a spiritual and emotional way. You stopped being a force of nature. You became part of the furniture, useful, predictable, easy to ignore. The monster she desires has 3 qualities, and these are the 3 things you either lost or never had. 1. Purpose bigger than her. The monster does not live for her. He has a mission. He has a dream, a conquest, a vision that's greater than romance. She is a part of his world, not the center of it. She's not his purpose, she's a pleasure along the path. And that drives her wild, because she wants to be claimed, not clung to. No woman wants to be the life project of an empty man. 2. The ability to say no. When was the last time you said no? When did you choose your needs over hers? Without guilt. The monster says no like it's nothing. No apologies, no explanations. And do you know what happens? Every no becomes a secret turn-on. Every I won't becomes a magnet. Why? Because no shows power, and power is sexy. 3. Emotional mystery. You, on the other hand, express everything. You pour out your emotions like a teenager writing love songs. She doesn't have to wonder how you feel. You already told her. You always tell her. You're easy to read, and that kills the mystery. The monster? He holds back. He doesn't play games, but he understands something. Mystery keeps desire alive. Aristotle once spoke of potential versus act. You are all act. Everything you feel, you say. Everything you think, you reveal. You leave no mystery, no emotional tension, but the monster, he is pure potential. He has energy that could explode, but he chooses not to. That choice creates tension, and that tension keeps her on edge. Have you seen this in real life? How does she act when a man doesn't reply right away? She checks her phone constantly. She wonders, is he busy? Is he ignoring me? Is he losing interest? That storm of questions creates an emotional fire inside her. She's not hurt, she's alive. And you, who reply instantly with long paragraphs and heart emojis, you make her feel safe, too safe. And safety, when it's too easy, becomes sleep. The secret is not cruelty. It's control. This isn't about being mean. It's not about manipulating anyone. It's about regaining your power. She wants a man who chooses her, not one who needs her. She wants a man who's hard to win, not one who's always waiting. She wants to be desired by the man the world respects, not the man who lives for her approval. She doesn't want a robot. She wants a man with depth, with fire, with purpose. And that man is rare. That man makes her nervous, excited, obsessed, because she never fully knows if she has him. And that's what keeps her coming back. Have you ever wondered why her interest fades the moment you give her everything? Why your love, poured endlessly, starts to feel like a burden to her? It's not because you're not enough, it's because you gave too much, too easily. Tension creates desire. She doesn't obsess over the man because he's better. She obsesses because his attention is rare. Every message from him is a drop of water in a desert. Every message from you is a flood in a city that's already underwater. Desire doesn't come from comfort. It comes from uncertainty, from chase, from craving something just out of reach. You answer instantly. You're always available. You're full of love, kindness, and effort. And then you wonder why she would rather thirst than drown in your ocean. Nietzsche said, God is dead. But he forgot to add, with him, the last man women could truly admire died, too. Because modern masculinity has become soft, too soft to be respected. We were told to be sweet, emotional, and always understanding. But women don't dream of being held by a therapist. They dream of being claimed by a man with fire in his soul. Not all beasts are muscular. The gym alpha male, the loud, cocky guy flexing at parties, that's not the monster either. He's just another boy in disguise. The real monster? He is quiet, calm, confident. He has the power to destroy, but he chooses to build. He can hurt, but he chooses to heal. And that choice, that silent power, is what makes her feel something no nice guy ever could. Why women love dangerous fantasies. Why do women fantasize about vampires, mafia kings, or bad boys they want to fix? It's not about the violence. It's about the contained power. It's the idea of the beast who became a prince, but who could become the beast again, if needed. You buried your beast years ago. You killed him on the altar of validation, acceptance, and social approval. And when he died, so did your raw masculinity. Women sense weakness. Instinctively. They can't always explain it, they don't even realize it consciously. But just like a shark smells blood, a woman senses weakness. Not because she's cruel, but because she's wired for survival. She needs to know that if the world burns, you can protect her. But first, you must be able to protect yourself. From what? Not from lions, not from enemy tribes, but from mediocrity, conformity. A life without purpose. That is the new battlefield. And the monster, he fights it every day. Purpose makes her stay. Look at how women react to men obsessed with their work, their music, their mission. Yes, they complain, you don't spend enough time with me, but they don't leave. Because deep down, they know the truth. Being with a man who has something bigger than her is the greatest privilege. It's the paradox. She wants to be the most important thing in your life. But the moment she succeeds, she begins to despise you. That was your trap. You made her your entire world. You showed her that your universe was small enough to fit in her hands. And when she realized she could crush your world any time, she lost interest. The monster? He owns a world so vast she could spend her entire life trying to explore it, yet never reach the end. That is the difference. You gave her a finished kingdom. He offers her an eternal war. And guess which one triggers her desire? Biology doesn't lie. But culture does. Culture told you women want equality, but in attraction, they don't want a man beside them. They want a man above them, one they can admire. Emotional vulnerability? Half-truth. Yes, she wants to know you can feel, but she doesn't want to live in the middle of your feelings. She wants to see that you have a heart, but that your heart doesn't control you. She wants to know you have depth, but not that you're drowning in it. I want a best friend. The biggest lie. She has best friends. They're called girlfriends. What she wants from you is something no friend can give her. Sexual polarity, masculine energy, emotional strength. Masculine and feminine are not just ideas. They are opposite magnetic forces. And you? You've neutralized your polarity. You became neither too masculine to avoid being toxic, nor too feminine to avoid seeming weak. You became emotionally flat. You are the dead zone. No energy, no mystery, no spark. The monster is electric. He is pure voltage, dangerous to touch, impossible to ignore. He knows what he is, and he's not ashamed of it. Why do women test men? The drama, the little fights, the irrational comments. These are not games. They're tests, polarity checks. She wants to see, are you still a man, or just another emotional girlfriend? And you? You fail every time. You say sorry too fast, you chase peace, you fear conflict, and with every test, her desire dies a little more. The monster responds differently. She starts a pointless fight. He doesn't get upset. He looks at her, smiles, and keeps doing what he was doing. She pushes harder. He walks up, grabs her by the waist, looks into her eyes, kisses her deeply. End of fight, start of fire. What's the difference? You negotiate from weakness. He acts from power. She doesn't want to win the fight. She wants to know she's with a man who could win, but chooses not to, for the right reasons. She wants to feel, he could devour me, but he lets me live. The darkest secret of female desire. It's not that she wants to be dominated, it's that she wants to choose who she allows to dominate her. You weren't rejected because you weren't enough. You were rejected because you needed too much. That's not love, that's dependence. And dependence is never attractive, not to her, not to life. You try to act dominant, but she doesn't choose you because she can feel it's all fake. You're copying tricks from cheap dating videos. You're pretending to be strong. But strength isn't something you act, it's something you are. The monster doesn't pretend to be in control. He is in control, first and foremost, of himself. He controls his urges, his fears, his need to be liked, and from that inner strength, everything else flows naturally. You can't even stop yourself from checking her Instagram every hour, and you think you're in control? Hierarchy is real. In every relationship, someone leads, someone follows. It doesn't matter if you're rich, tall, or powerful at work. In this relationship, she leads. How do we know? Because the one who needs more always loses power, and you need her like air. She can feel it, she can smell it, and she uses it. The monster flips the roles. Not because he doesn't feel, he feels deeply. But his identity isn't built on that feeling. He can love and still let go. He can lose and still stay whole. That's real power, emotional self-sufficiency. And believe it or not, that's the most attractive trait a man can have. A poet once said, "Whoever loves more, suffers more." He was right, but he missed the point. The answer isn't to stop loving, it's to stop loving from a place of need. You love like a beggar, desperate, scared, thankful for scraps, afraid she'll leave because you believe you'll break without her. The monster loves like a king, generous because he has more than enough, calm because he knows he has options, confident because his life is full with or without her. That's not arrogance, that's truth. A man who has purpose, who grows, who doesn't crave approval, that man always has options, and women can sense it. They compete to be chosen by him. Meanwhile, you're fighting for the attention of someone who doesn't even want you anymore. Nature is wise and cruel. It rewards strength. It punishes weakness. And the greatest weakness, it's not lack of money, it's not lack of looks, it's emotional hunger. It's needing someone so badly that you forget who you are. It's defining your worth by whether she still texts you back. The monster? He's whole, whether alone or loved. His worth doesn't rise and fall with her attention. Yours does, like Bitcoin on a bad news day. There was a moment you lost her, and if you're honest, you know exactly when it happened. It was the moment you stopped being her lover and became her emotional son. The moment you started asking, "Is this okay?" instead of saying, "This is what I'm doing." The moment your joy became dependent on her mood. Women don't want emotional sons. They already have biological ones. From a man, they want stability, leadership, direction, not another child to babysit. The monster doesn't ask for permission to be himself. He informs, he considers, he includes, but he never begs. His life is his own. She is invited to be a part of it, not to control it. You know what kills more relationships than cheating? Predictability, the slow death of emotional routine, the boredom of knowing exactly what you'll say, what you'll do, how you'll react. You become a movie she's watched 1,000 times, and it wasn't even that good the first time. The monster. He's not playing games, he's just alive. He's unpredictable not because he tries to be, but because he grows, he changes, he evolves. And growth is naturally full of surprise. You stopped growing the day you won her. You thought the game was over, you got lazy, you got emotionally fat, you became safe, repetitive, boring, as if desire was something you win once and never have to earn again. Schopenhauer wrote, "To conquer without risk is to triumph without glory." But you didn't even conquer. You were gifted her love, and you acted like it was your right. Now you wonder why she wants to escape to wilder lands. The monster? He keeps conquering, not other women, but himself. New versions, new talents, new mountains. That energy, that fire is what women truly desire. Not the finished product, not perfection, but the man who builds himself over and over again. She didn't leave you for someone else. She left you for something more. More passion, more purpose, more life. And you became less. Your fire doesn't burn for yourself anymore. It burns only for her. And that's the problem. She enjoyed your warmth only when it radiated naturally. But you gave all your heat just to keep her close. Now you're both cold. That's the brutal truth. She didn't leave because of another man. She left for the hope of another man. A fantasy became more exciting than your reality. That stings, doesn't it? Good. Because pain is the most honest teacher. The monster she's looking for, he's not at the gym, he's not her co-worker, he's not on dating apps, he's an energy, an archetype, a symbol of something higher than emotional routine. When women say, "I want a spark," what they really mean is, "I want to feel alive." And you're emotional formaldehyde. You preserve, you don't ignite, you maintain, you don't transform. The monster, on the other hand, is raw life force, unpredictable, chaotic, real. He destroys and rebuilds. He creates and evolves. He lives with such intensity that others can't help but feel it. Napoleon didn't conquer Europe to attract women. He conquered Europe, and women were drawn to that power. That's the key. Masculine ambition, when directed outward, toward purpose, growth, creation, is incredibly attractive. But when you direct all that ambition toward winning a woman, it becomes repulsive. The monster hungers for the world. You hunger for her attention. And that's why she's leaving. You keep waiting for her to say, "You're enough," but that moment never comes. Because enough can't be asked for. It must be earned. Through challenge, growth, and the kind of inner victory that has nothing to do with her. When was the last time you faced fear head on? Pushed your limits? Did something difficult, not to impress her, but to grow yourself? The monster lives at the edge of discomfort, not for thrills, but because he knows that if he's not growing, he's dying. You died years ago, not physically, but emotionally. Now you just exist. You go through the motions. Work, sleep, scroll, repeat. You're an emotional zombie. You confuse routine with life. The monster could live more in one intense day than you've lived in the last 10 years. That's what she's really seeking. Not drama, not chaos, intensity, presence, life. But you numb yourself. With Netflix, with junk food, with meaningless talk, with distractions that mean nothing, with people you barely like. And then you wonder why she looks for meaning elsewhere. You know why the monster works? Because he doesn't try to work. It's not a performance, it's a side effect, a result of living with self-respect, of protecting his energy, of valuing his time like the rare resource it is. You give your time, your attention, your energy away as if you have an infinite supply. You act like your life will last 1,000 years, like your soul can be spent endlessly, like your dignity doesn't matter. The monster is the opposite. He's stingy with his essence. He guards his focus. He gives generously, but only to what matters. You're the reverse. You give your soul for a smile and then complain about paying for dinner. Nietzsche spoke of the Übermensch, Not a man of physical strength, but one with the will to power. The man who creates his own values, who stops chasing validation from the herd. The monster is nature's answer to the modern man. He doesn't follow society's rules, he makes his own. And, ironically, the world follows him, especially women. Because deep down, a woman would rather be the second choice of a powerful man than the only choice of an ordinary one. It's not fair, it's not logical, it's not what they say, but desire doesn't speak the language of logic. It speaks the language of energy, of presence, of power. Not the power to control others, but the power to control yourself. The power to say no, the power to walk away, the power to be alone, the power to not need. You don't have those powers. You are chained by your own neediness, a prisoner of your fear of abandonment, a hostage to your emotional dependence which you confuse for love. The monster is free, free to walk, free to stay, free to love, but never as a slave. Because love, when it comes from freedom, becomes irresistible.